God. Good morning. Well, I'm in the part of the Peak District I don't often come to. That house there, I'm not sure if it's abandoned or not. It looks abandoned, but I'm not going to go any closer just in case people are in there sleeping. This is Cumberland Brook. I have walked this path before a couple of times, but it's such a long time ago that I barely remember it. And I couldn't actually remember how to get to it from the car park. I had to check the map. It wasn't where I kind of remembered it to be. But yeah, this is Cumberland Brook. It's very pretty. And the purpose of today's walk is to kind of fill in the blanks again, to walk a part of this part of the Peak District that hopefully not many people come to. Yeah, it does look abandoned. It looks like it's in pretty good condition though. Some great views if you live there. It's not named on the map, but that looks very much like a barrow to me. Where I am right now is pretty much in the middle of a whole bunch of different places. Shutlingsloe, obscured by clouds over there. 3 Shire heads. The Cat and Fiddle, Shining Tor, all those places, Macclesfield Forest. So I'm kind of bang in the middle of all those areas. And the last few times that I came out here was to visit some of those places, such as, I think the last time I was here it was to go up Shutlingsloe, which I've done a few times. But today I just wanted to kind of avoid all those places, walk the area between all of those different places. And hopefully avoid the crowds, although the problem is, whilst I won't be visiting any of those spots, the paths that I'm going to be taking will probably be busy with people going to those spots or coming from those spots. It's probably been about 9 years since I last came up here. I've already passed a couple of people, spoken to a couple of people who are both on their way to 3 Shire heads. And I am going to avoid that like the plague. It's worth going to if you've never been there, definitely worth a visit. But it just gets so busy. And although the weather isn't great today, it is the August bank holiday weekend. It's the school holidays. It will be busy. But I have picked out a few spots on this walk, on this route, that I do want to check out, that I don't think attract many visitors. I've certainly never been to them before. They look potentially quite interesting. But the only thing I'm not sure about is there might be some kind of through traffic of people going to the more popular spots, passing close by to these locations I'm checking out. So these locations might actually be familiar to quite a few people. I just don't know at this point in time, but they're certainly places I've not been to before. And for the most part today, I will be sticking to the footpaths. There is a little bit of off-piste, but kind of a secondary goal of today is to recce the area and see whether there's potential for more explore walks here, off-piste explore walks. So far, I definitely think there is. It's absolutely stunning. There's a distinct difference in the landscape in the Cheshire Peak District from the rest of the Peak District. It is stunning here, it just gets too busy. Anyway, that direction is where Three Shires Head is, or Three Shire Heads, whichever way you want to say it. I'm going to walk briefly towards that direction and then change direction and walk away from it. So if I were going to Three Shires Head, that's the direction I'd go in. But today it's not about going to any of the popular spots in this area. It's about exploring the bits in between. So I've literally just come down this way and I'm going back up this way, back towards the road, which I will be crossing over again. But there's a few things up here that I want to check out. I'm coming up to a few old quarries. I haven't actually got to that point yet, but these are obviously associated buildings, or the ruins of associated buildings. So up ahead we've got Reeve-Edge Quarries, and there's a couple of other quarries beyond that. They're all abandoned. I looked at maps from about 100 years ago and they were ruined, abandoned quarries even back then. So my plan is to spend a bit of time exploring these quarries. There are paths that go through them. So I've not seen anyone else on this path at all. Okay, well there's a path here which is marked on the map, so it's a proper path. I'm going to follow this for a while. Then we're going to go on to another path, walk along it for a little bit and then backtrack. And then come back. We're going to end up back at that chimney there. And then we're going to cross the road and continue the walk. Looking again at the map, this is more likely Danebower Quarry, and over there is Reeve-Edge Quarry. I think you could spend hours just exploring the quarries. For the main part, I'm just sticking to the footpaths and walking through and having a look. But there's no one else here. So this is actually a path. It's the path I mentioned that I'm going to follow a small section along just through the quarries, and then I'm going to backtrack and come back. There's so much to explore here, it's amazing. Well, the sun is trying to come out and I'm feeling hungry, so I'm going to find a spot out of the wind and have my lunch. Well, there's just so much more to this than you think. Look at this. I mean, I'm off the path now, and I only really found this because I was looking for somewhere to eat lunch. But when you see something like this, how can you resist? I can't believe I've never been here before. I think this is one of my new favourite spots in the Peak District. Where does this go? So I'm not going to stay at this bit because there are midges and there are also the bones of dead sheep. Probably not the best spot to have lunch, so I'm just going to come back out a little bit. Missed this on the way in. Oh my god. Possibly the lair of a big cat or Bigfoot. Okay, after a lot of deliberation, I think this will be my lunch spot. First view of Shutlingsloe. Despite being a lot closer to it this morning, it was all cloudy and you couldn't see. Okay, so I've had my lunch and now I'm going to retrace my steps, circle back around to that chimney over there, go up from there, cross the road, and then on with the walk. So I had lunch just in time. It's now raining quite hard. Okay, well, I'm not sure how I've managed to do it because I just followed the obvious track, but I've crossed the road at the wrong point. I need to be over there. So it's too dangerous to walk along the road. So I'm just gonna go through this gate and probably just head up there, get back on to the main route. But the weather's turning quite bad. This is Danebower Hollow. Shutlingsloe. Oh, it's suddenly busy. I think they're all together, 6 people. But as you can see, I'm in the clouds. Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack to this point and then take that path down to Cumberland Brook, back to the car. Just about see Shutlingsloe. But I'm going to go this way for now because there's something else I want to check out. There's Shining Tor. This path leads up to the Cat and Fiddle. It's a very popular path, but believe it or not, this is my first time to walk it. Okay, well, I am turning off the path and going off piste. Very, very boggy. So that there in front of me is what I came to have a look at. That's the top of the Scores, which is a very steep, deep gorge. Right, well, I just wanted to come and have a look, really, see if it's worth coming back. Well, there we go. That's a bit more like it. That definitely has potential. Definitely got potential, that. Although it is so narrow at the bottom that there's really no option but to walk in the water. So I've just come a little bit further along the top edge, and yeah, it looks more doable now. Looks like it's a little bit wider down the bottom. So it looks like what I thought might be building ruins are just rocks. But anyway, very, very interesting. It was only ever my intention to come and have a look today. I certainly didn't plan to try and walk it today. I think it kind of deserves its own walk, its own dedicated walk, maybe parking up at the Cat and Fiddle. Right, retrace my steps to this point. I'm going to go this way, back down to Cumberland Brook. These views are incredible. You know, I was just here a short time ago when it was raining and visibility was really bad and I was in low cloud, but now look at it. Okay, well that's where I've just come down, and I've rejoined this path. There's the waterfall that I crossed this morning. That's the route up I took this morning. And now the loop is complete. We just need to follow this back down to the car. So just before I leave this area, I do think that there is more to explore here. Although I don't know how much more, maybe only an hour or so. But there's a little bit more to explore up there than I looked at. And then there's all of the tops here. There's that middle section with that mound on the top, which from here looks like a barrow. It may just be the perspective though. It's not marked on the map as a barrow. So I think if you were to combine actually coming up Cumberland Brook itself with an explore of the top, then you could make a full day of it for sure. Going back to something I mentioned on last week's walk, in the video for last week's walk, when I was in that clough, Osselden Clough, Userden Clough, whatever, and it marked those, the OS map marked those waterfalls on the map, and they were tiny. You know, along here, and especially at the top, there are far bigger waterfalls than anything that I saw last week, and yet the map shows no waterfalls at all. Well, there you go, there's a view we didn't see this morning due to the low cloud. There is the mighty Shutlingsloe, although not so mighty really. The thing about Shutlingsloe is it looks far more impressive than it actually is. But anyway, I really enjoyed that walk. That was my first time coming back up Cumberland Brook for a long time, maybe 8 years. And yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it. I think the highlight for today's walk were the quarries, definitely the quarries. And it was good to take a look at the scores. Definitely potential there for a good walk. And also, I think Cumberland Brook itself, if you were to avoid the path at the top side, and actually go up the brook and then explore up top, have a proper explore up the top, then that would probably be a good day's worth of entertainment. So yeah, a really enjoyable walk with generating a couple of good possibilities for future adventures. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.